Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone, depending upon the time zone you are in. Welcome to this webinar. So, just a while ago, I was discussing with Shane the topic he's going to cover today, and I was mesmerized with the stats Shane was throwing at me. He was saying around 800,000 engineers graduate every year here in India, and out of which only 20% are employable. I mean that the number is stunning, and though the number may look skewed, but the primary reason he cited for this smaller percentage being employable is the poor communication skills. Quite understandable, but I was never aware that this plays such a big part. And and this situation rightly makes acquiring business communication skills very imperative to today's engineers to stay competitive. And probably this is the major reason why major ITeS firms which recruit engineers heavily are waking up to an efficient training program system for new recruits. And probably this had been the situation which led us to the inception of blended learning program a couple of years ago. And I was told by Shane, this has quite literally revolutionized the way the training is imparted, the communication skills training is imparted, and assessment is being done of new hires, and quite objectively. It made acquiring communication skills a very process-driven task for employers and employees both. So I'm not going to go much in detail, and I'm not going to steal the thunder from Shane because he is better equipped to take you through this. So Shane is going to cover it. Shane is a talent development manager at TaraSpan with a rich experience of designing, delivering, and managing blended learning programs for some of the big organizations. I would be supporting Shane. I look after marketing here, and so before I hand it over to Shane to take us through the presentation, I just would like to quickly take you through our overview. TaraSpan is a productivity enhancement solution provider to enterprises here in India. So we are a technology company all in all. Our solutions can be broadly categorized into 4 solution pillars. One obviously is talent and assessment solutions, which fall under talent development arm of ours. Then we have unified collaboration suite to provide unified communication solutions and video conferencing solutions to enterprises. Then we provide mobile productivity enhancement solutions again to enterprises, and we also deliver antenna solutions to telecoms. And for our global audience, we are an expert in India market entry. If they want to sell here in India or want an access to the ever-growing, ever-talented employee base, then they can get in touch with us. So Shane, so it's off to you now. You can start with your part.
Thanks, Varun. Firstly, a very good afternoon to everyone, and then thanks for attending this webinar session. My name is Shane Phantom, and as Varun mentioned earlier, I take care of the talent development vertical for TaraSpan. Today's webinar, we've set out an agenda, but on the onset, I would like to let everyone know that this webinar is just not about showcasing the solution that we deploy with organizations, but also we try to embed like a use case or a case study where it helps organizations relate to the kind of challenges, the objectives, as well as the outcomes of a solution, something of this magnitude. So having said that, the agenda would start off with the current scenario in the marketplace and what's there for us to tackle, the challenges that organizations face in the ITeS industry, the objectives set by organizations or companies, and how our solution caters to that objective. followed by the approach that we've adopted successfully, and the process that we follow in running a solution like this, along with a few of the highlights of the program, some of the deliverables and metrics that go hand in hand with this program, and obviously the success factors and what makes this a unique solution, what makes this a program that has been running successfully over the years. And we'll end up with the value proposition of this whole solution and program, and why is TaraSpan the chosen partner for organizations to run programs at this of this stature. And towards the end of the session, we would like to take up questions. So request everyone, if you have any questions, do park that and keep that for towards the end of the session, and we'll be glad enough to answer them for you. Okay. So moving on, as I said, the first being the current scenario in the marketplace. Now, obviously, if I have to summarize the existing situation, it is the need to bridge the communication gap, and that's of the new hires once they're recruited from campuses and are put on job. So that's where we would like to address, and that's what is the pain area of a lot of organizations, where business English is becoming vastly being accepted by a lot of organizations as one of the pain areas, one of the areas which hasn't been given its due importance previously, but now is becoming the focal point or the center of attention. And a lot of organizations are looking at such innovative and cost-effective training programs for their engineers to bridge that communication gap per se. Now, Varun initially had mentioned about the stats, which were quite mind-boggling. But the interesting fact is, that even the 20% that are considered employable out of the 800,000 engineers that are graduating every year from the 4,000 odd engineering colleges in India, the fact remains that not all 20% are job fit or job ready, and just not acquiring those technical skills is good enough for them to pick up projects and then start interacting with clients or start running projects on their own. So that's an area which definitely requires a lot of intervention, a lot of innovative training framework, technology, and methodology as well to address that part of it. But yes, definitely it does not mean that the other 80% that is pre-graduation, that's a different aspect altogether, how to build employability. And that can only happen in the pre-graduation stage in universities and colleges. And that I'm sure in the future slides I will definitely take up a point on that as well. But for now, the focus is these 20% and how do we churn them out. Moving on to the challenge. Now, the challenge is, what we try to look at it is in two aspects of any organization. They have the pre-hiring and they have the post-hiring. So the kind of nuances that they come across. In the pre-hiring stage, it's a lack of formal communication training program at the college or university level, and that's what I mentioned earlier as well. Because we don't have something as robust or something as structured in communication, or something as focused in communication training, thereby leading to such an outcome and the problems faced by organizations once they hire these engineers. The second being that a lot of organizations are moving out to tier 2 and tier 3 cities to increase their hiring, to meet their hiring demands. And that's again a challenge, because leading to a third point of, they may have the technical ability or the technical skills, but they don't have the prerequisites or the language proficiency that they need to carry on the job. So from a pre-hiring stage, these are the challenges that come very, very evidently. But in a post-hiring stage, again, once an employee is recruited into the organization, a lot of companies just carry a communication skills training as not in a very structured way. So they either do not give adequate time or to employees or the new hires to invest enough time to improve their communication skills or enhance their communication skills. So that's one of the key challenges. Also, there's no standard measure. So if you reach out to organizations, what we try to see is that they aren't able to attach a kind of a grade to a particular candidate or participant when they join the organization from a proficiency level in language or communication skills. And because of that, they don't really know what kind of training program is required or what kind of training is required to enhance their communication skills. So they're thereby leading to a lot of disparity in actually figuring out what's the right kind of training required. Moving on, so when we speak with organizations, very few, the points that came out, if we had to just summarize, we could have summarized it in these four objectives or their needs or their asks, if I may put it that way. That what exactly do they want from a learning solution? So one definitely being to create a learning environment which is conducive to the new hires. So even though communication skills is the training that we need to impart, but the learning the learning environment has to be very conducive. Second is to be able to refine and enhance their written and speaking communication skills. The third being to ensure that we minimize and reduce regional influence, mother tongue influence, and colloquialisms in terms when they speak or they write. And the fourth being the employee should be able to comprehend their clients and their requirements and able to converse with them without too much of a struggle. These were the broad points that we could summarize the key objectives of organizations when it comes to delivering a learning solution. So knowing the objectives, knowing the needs, the approach that we followed was to bring in a paradigm shift in terms of the training that we impart. That's the methodology that we wanted to adopt. We wanted to bring in a technology and the conventional training to blend them together in such a way that obviously for the new hires, the kind of exposure that they get in learning on an online platform, that becomes they're more used to it because of nowadays modern age, everything is digitalized. So their comfort level is more towards technology and they're very technical savvy. So we wanted to bring in that element. We wanted to retain the conventional classroom training because again, coming straight from campuses to a corporate, they need that kind of mold, they need that kind of personalization. So to have interactive ILT sessions, to have very engaging practice sessions, and most importantly, to have assessments to assess their skills at not only at the beginning but at the end and during the course of the program as well. So our methodology pretty much revolved around a blended learning approach. So as I was saying earlier, so the blend that we want to bring together, obviously instructor-led because of that personalization, because of that classroom feel, to address concerns on a one-to-one basis, to have that kind of a structure in place. But at the same time, give the participants the freedom to learn at their own pace within the learning window, within the training period, so that they could be able to keep revisiting or keep reiterating their own performance, keep improving their own performance at their own pace without getting in the herd kind of a way where trainers find it a little difficult to reach out to each individual in the batch. So the practice sessions were predominantly where the individuals could spend time and improve their skills. The curriculum also plays a very important role because the curriculum moving from a ILT to an online, the transition needs to be seamless. It needs to complement each other, and it should not be standalone module because then participants get very confused and lose interest. So it was very important and imperative to have a good blend, a very seamless blend, a smooth transition from ILT to online, and ensure that any repetitive topics, any kind of topics that are already very theoretical in nature can be picked up by the tool, and people can practice on the tool rather than trainers investing or facilitators investing time for those topics in delivery. So it saves a lot of time, training time as well. And obviously the other aspect being assessments. Now, a lot of programs may just have the pre and post assessments at the beginning and at the end. We do this as well, but the other aspect which is important is the daily assessments to keep regular checks on the participants' improvement and track their progress, not only whether they're improving in the skills, but also in terms of are they retaining what has been trained to them in the previous days. So making sure that that is tapped on a regular basis. So this was pretty much the approach that we try to use in forming a blended learning approach. Moving on, the process that we looked at now, and I'm sure when I'm going through this session, there will be points that I may keep repeating, but those are very essential to understand, because those are the USPs in a way of this whole program. So, for example, the pre-assessment gives an employee a grade or level at the very first day of them joining the training. So that gives the organizations the ability to know in the pool of new hires which individuals are at an intermediate level of proficiency in English language, which employees at the beginner level, and thereby understanding what's their strength and how many can be sent to projects on a quicker basis, and that's important to have a kind of a threshold or a benchmark done at the very beginning of the training. Then again, one of the key aspects of the process that we follow is have interactive ILT sessions. So just not a download of information, but have a two-way kind of a delivery where participants are engaged, are made to present, are made to be involved in group activities where they can articulate their thoughts, their ideas, so bring them out of their comfort zone, give them more opportunities to express themselves. And I think that's one of the key aspects of learning. It's to, when you apply what you've learned and you have that opportunity to apply, and a lot of individuals get out of that zone where they are very shy, very coy, or don't want to express themselves. And these sessions within this program gives them those opportunities. So definitely it's one of the key process points as well. Also a lot of online practice sessions, as we mentioned earlier, where once the ILT is completed, they get the time to work on modules to practice their skills and then to improve them, and have those at a dedicated time within a day. And online assessments to track the progress and followed or concluded by a post-assessment on the last day. Now, all this is obviously bonded by the plot or the curriculum that we've designed, and which no matter what topic they practice or what topic is delivered, the plotter sticks to or addresses skills of grammar, comprehension, pronunciation, and fluency. And thereby, whether it's a delivery topic or whether it's they practice, these are the aspects that keep on getting reiterated, and thereby, consciously to unconsciously helping individuals improve in these skill sets. Yeah. So a few of the program highlights, and these are the USPs of the program, which is a little different than the regular programs. That it's a 64 hours training program spread across 8 days with a 5:3 ratio of ILT to online learning. We had to keep this proportion, just right. Obviously, for the simple reason that it should not get too tilted towards one side, and may just steal the other aspect. For instance, if we had to reverse the cycle and say five, majority of the time you spend on the tool, less number of time you spend in the IoT sessions, again did not make much sense, or does not make much sense, because they need to clarify, they need to get their questions answered by the facilitators. They need that guidance, they need that counseling also in terms of during this training period, which can help them improve their particular skills. And a very key important aspect is the smooth transition to ensure continuity in the curriculum and make sure that for every day, the transition from from a IoT to an online is in a logical progression. Also, the platform that the individuals use is cloud-based, thereby giving giving companies the flexibility and scalability of accessing this platform across the globe. And that's again a very key USP, because that gives the assurance that this program can run across geographies, and that's the key part. Then again, the pre and post assessment that is conducted at the beginning and at the end obviously shows the program efficacy, as well as the improvement or learning curve of that participant, and even the batches as well. And the daily assessments through regular knowledge checks, that's the main essence of it, with coupled with some energized and interactive activities, where you either game-based activities, individual-based activities, very competitive activities, to ensure that participants again, learn the art of teamwork, learn the essence of teamwork, and also able to articulate their thoughts, ideas, which is very essential, because once they get on job, they would like an idea to be expressed, but the fear of speaking in public, or the fear of being wrong or incorrect, that usually shies them away. But this is the platform we like to give them, where they can shed their inhibitions and they express and get into the mode of being able to be at the front of everything, and be very competitive, as well as participate in a lot of activities. Sorry. Moving on, some of the more highlights. The content plays a very important role in programs like this, and very intentionally, the way we try to structure the content is to ensure that when participants are exposed to the curriculum or the content, the very few first couple of modules are very personal but familiar topics, where they understand it very easily. They've done it in the past. They just need to revisit it again. So gradually letting them into the whole curriculum mode, basically. So right from a personal familiar to domain specific familiar, which they already may be aware of during their graduation days. So getting topics from that angle, towards making content very specific to domain, but which is unfamiliar to participants, and then finally topics which are unfamiliar to participants from a domain specific, or as well as everyday day-to-day life topics as well. So that has pretty much helped, because that eases them into the content, eases them into the curriculum, and the acceptance is higher, and the comfort level is higher in terms of when the content is structured in this manner. Another very important aspect is the scenario-based modules that participants work on online. These modules are obviously short capsule modules, but they help a participant or a candidate to understand a process flow or understand decision making better. So when they're put up with a situation, they have to choose responses, which helps them decide and gives them a kind of a decision tree. And at the end of their decision tree, they get to see the path that they have chosen vis-a-vis the path that was ideal to have been chosen, the shortest time that they could have utilized to resolve a particular issue, or the shortest time that they could have addressed a particular concern. This enables the decision-making skill sets of theirs, and it is a very successful module that we run across during this program as well. All in all, the modules that we cover are pretty much topics that fall under these categories of fundamentals of grammar, sounds and intonation, listening and comprehension, email etiquette, accent familiarization, client interaction, domain-specific content. Pretty much whatever modules we create are under this category. Now, a little time if we spend on the module framework, and this is like what each online module encompasses, is pretty much this, okay, where the participant, when they open modules, they get to see guided reading. So they have that aspect. They have active listening and retention as one of the sub modules within that unit. They have spelling and keyboarding, language application, judgment and comprehension. So, if you notice, and I'll be sharing the metrics that we follow as well. So those metrics are very well, tagged to these particular aspects in the module. So again, participants, knowingly, unknowingly, when they practice, they are improving their skill sets by, you know, working on these sections, working on these modules. They're able to, in guided reading is just not, narration of the topic, but the participants get to record their voice. They get to see the pronunciation, score. And a very simple feedback mechanism is used on the tool in a traffic light signal where they get to see red, amber, green basis the pronunciation. They get to, listening and retention, they get to listen to a particular sentence, which could be, very domain specific, it could be general, it could be just simple courtesies, but they get to listen to it and they need to repeat what they've heard. So again, tuning that retention skills of theirs and their listening skills. Then they also have the section of spelling and keyboarding where you listen to a particular sentence or a particular set of information and they need to key that down. Or be it language application in terms of multiple choice questions where they get to choose the right answer, or even judgment and comprehension where they have audio snippets and they get to, basis that they get to answer, refer to context type of questions, or, those aspects are very well fitted in that module framework of the online units. And thereby it exposes the employees to different accents, to also enables them to improve their personal cultural awareness. And the modules that we created are of progressive difficulty, starting with easy topics earlier and towards the latter half of the program they get to a little more complex units and modules. And sorry, excuse me. And the whole idea is to improve their job skills, and that's the kind of skill sets we target as well. Now, as I was talking about the online platform, as this is a separate entity within this whole curriculum framework, the USP of this online platform is that obviously you create your practice and assessment units, and that takes away a huge chunk of time and effort of a facilitator from running assessments and correcting them and spending individual time practicing. So thereby putting that online takes away a lot of training time, which increases the training output. Now, the USP of the platform is that organizations get the flexibility to create unique login credentials, and they can upload it in bulk. So again, the admin task becomes a little easier when they create sets of 1,000 IDs in a month. The task here becomes easier to set up classes, set up IDs, set up batches, and it's a much easier management portal that we have here that can enable the whole administration effectively. Then again, daily assessments, the USP of that is also to have randomized questions, to have time-based assessments, again giving the sense of urgency to participants, and it helps them track their improvement, and participants get to see how well they fare in the assessments as well. So they can keep a track and check on how well they're faring day-wise in this particular program. And as I was mentioning earlier, when a participant reads, on the online platform, when they read a particular unit or record their voice, they get instant feedback. Even if they answer questions, they get instant feedback. So, and that's a very key element, because then it reduces the dependency on trainers, and individuals get to see where they make errors, and they get to see why they were errors, and thereby giving them a little more intelligence on how they could improve, and giving them a little more time to and guidance to improve that particular skill set. Also, the online learning activity is tracked and recorded. So for each participant, whatever time they've spent, whatever module they've accessed, how they fared in modules, be it practice assessment, all that is available and is able to be accessed by the trainers on a real-time basis, as well as if organizations require a very custom report to see, for all batches spread across locations, how they fared, the kind of the metrics basically, and how well they've done and all. You get that at a click of a button. And we too, at TaraSpan, one of our, again, if I put it very simply, again, the X factor is that we are very flexible and we do a lot of customization and customizing reports client needs. It's something that we do as well. And combines effectively and improve their listening and comprehension skills. So the inputs by the organizations and becomes the deliverables, and the learning solution that is built, or the approach that we adopted, revolved around these deliverables. And we came up with, we tried to bucketize those deliverables and came up with these 5 metrics where every individual is tracked and we have scores against all these metrics. So we have oral fluency, retention skills. Oral fluency obviously is the pronunciation, the voice and accent of the participant. Retention skills is their writing skills, language skills, and as well as listening and comprehension. So these are the 5 metrics that are tracked, and these are pretty much that encompass the deliverables itself, with a threshold of 65%. That is, the participant needs to get an overall score of 65%, on these metrics to ensure that they clear the training program. Now, coming to our success factors and what makes us different and what makes us solution, and working or partnering with TaraSpan, beneficial for organizations, is that we've been conducting similar programs for global companies over the last 3 years, and we managed to train 40,000 plus campus engineers, and we're doing this month on month, week on week, and with results that are definitely benefit organizations, with results that organizations set out for us, and we've been achieving them consistently year on year. We also, the training programs that not only conducted in the tier 1 or cities but also in tier 2, thereby obviously giving organizations the flexibility to start running batches in tier 2 cities as well, and then open the reach of this entire training program. And with this solution and program, we've been able to achieve the deliverables and improve the competency levels of employees, of the new hires, and make them job ready sooner, and without compromising on the quality of the training as well. If I have to talk about the stats of the program now, with a benchmark of 65%, we've consistently seen a pass percentage of 90%. That is, out of every 100 new hires, we see 90% or 90 people, 90 participants scoring 65% and above, or clearing the benchmark, batch on batch. And overall improvement as well as written skills, we've seen a 15% improvement batch on batch. And for the spoken skills, we've seen a 10% improvement, which is quite high, which is quite impressive in terms of the number of individuals that we're talking about. Now, coming to the value proposition of what we bring to the table, and how companies like you benefit from partnering with TaraSpan, is that obviously the whole program, the engagement delivers on both tangible and intangible benefits. And with us, you get, because we constantly look at improvising, bringing in newer technologies, and thereby the best practices in the training methodology is what we we offer to organizations. We have a set of the team of ID certified professionals who develop content, customize it for clients, and they work both on IoT as well as web-based content. And as I said earlier, we have the flexibility to customize the content, our curriculum, our program, our reporting structure as per the business requirements. And we also do end-to-end training, delivery, and project management, taking the headache off the organization and running these programs for them with the magnitude of X number of batches in a month. And our team, we've got a team of 40 plus experienced and certified language facilitators across the country, thereby readily available to take up batches as and when required. We also, as I mentioned earlier, do customization of reports. We provide analytics of each batch, of each training program to customers, and try to review and see how better we could improve, or how well the program is running and how better it could be done. We have a dedicated support team, thereby ensuring that there are no technical glitches, or there are the turnaround time is absolutely minimal in terms of any kind of contingency or within the training duration. We provide 100% administrative support as well for the platform as well as for the training. We have a dedicated and responsive technical support team. So be it whether you do a day training or an evening training, or always there, and kind of support that we provide is we also certify and train in-house the IT team as well to manage level 1 kind of support or technical queries, and and then we take over as the tier level 2 support as well. So we do that, and we also provide assistance in logistics and IT in deploying the program, in setting up batches, and in managing it entirely, from day 1 to day 8. And sorry, yeah. So and all in all, to just summarize, what the difference that we bring to the table is we provide our expertise in delivering solutions to all sides of businesses, and any learning solution, be it communication training, professional development, basis that we are able to address the kind of challenges by the organization and deliver on those. We have our in-house solutioning designing capabilities, thereby giving us access to developing, designing content as and when required. And we have a single point access to global technologies. So your one-point solution to bringing, be it your hiring solution or your training solution, we have solutions for all. And we have a very strong pre-sales and post-sales support team, ensuring that we go hand in hand with the organization. We partner with them, and then just not as vendors, but as consultants to them. We support them in both stages and throughout the tenure that we have with them. Yeah. So I think this brings us to the end of the web session, and I'm opening the house for questions. And Varun, if you're still there on the call,
yeah,
you could go ahead, and if anyone has questions, you could.
Yeah, Shane, thanks a lot, first of all. It was quite insightful. Yes, the time permits us to take up some questions, and I see a lot of questions being lined up for us. Let's take a couple of them. So are you ready? Should I start with questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm taking the first question. So it's like, what is the approach towards replenishing the content, and how frequently is it refreshed?
Oh, yeah, that's a very good question, though. Yes, so a very important part of this program is definitely the content that is getting delivered. Now we need to, as a regular practice, what we do is we need to replenish or refresh the content periodically. So every 6 to 9 months is where we go ahead, and our approach is pretty much very simple. We take feedback from the organization, from the trainers who are delivering training, and we have a good sessions with them where we have a brainstorming session in terms of how is the content getting received by the participants, which topics are working well, what kind of activities are working well with them, which are not, which are becoming a little redundant. So we have these regular sessions with the organization and the key stakeholders. Based on their inputs, we go back to the drawing board, look at our existing curriculum and our plotter, see what can be tweaked, look at the significant inputs as well, and try to include them, and that's how we approach refreshing or replenishing the content. So in short, into the answer to the question is every 6 to 9 months, and with the inputs from the people on ground.
Okay, makes sense. The second question is on the logistics front. The question is, how do you manage the logistics and scheduling of batches? Is it done by the firm or by TaraSpan?
Okay, so this is totally a company's call, right? If I look at the existing how it works is we have both external and internal locations. Mostly it's the organization that choose to run logistics, that is to ensure that they have the training room, the training lab set up, have all the other logistics in place, and we cater to, or we come in when we have to provide or allocate trainers, do the batch mapping, and go ahead and do the back-end administrative work. So it's like a 50-50 kind of a partnership where logistics is taken care of by the company as it's their own employees, and we pitch in with the administrative tasks or the back-end work. But again, we are open to exploring options where if the organization feels that they would like us to look at training venues, training locations, we would with that as well.
All right. I see a lot of questions around customization. So I'm summarizing those questions. So what is the extent of customization that you provide for a program like this?
Okay, so a very simple answer is like 100%. But yeah, obviously the level of customization is absolutely as much as the client would want us to customize the content or the program to. Obviously, working right now, we take bits and pieces and include to whatever the customer has as inputs. But again, it's totally up to the customer how they would want, what kind of inputs they would want us to include or embed in the program itself. The content and the plotter, the program is quite customizable, as I said earlier.
All right. Okay. The next question is around. So, is the program only for new hires, or can it be run for the on-job employees as well?
Oh, that's a very good question raised. Yes. So it's a very simple way of looking at it. It's not just for the new hires. Obviously, the framework, the model that is run it's exclusive for new hires. It's during a time when they've just been recruited. So obviously they have that induction period going on for them. So it's ideal because it's a blended learning. It has an ILT as well as online. Thereby, it gives them the new hires the edge of running this program. Having said that, with a little tweak, with a little change in methodology, the program can run effectively for on-job associates as well, provided they haven't gone through a similar training in the past when they joined the organization. So because this always remains a key gap of communication skills, and there's never an end to it. So this program can definitely be deployed for on-floor or on-job associates to engineers as well.
All right. So I'm taking the last question now. How do you approach the technical issues faced during the delivery of this program?
Yeah. So as I said earlier, the approach that we follow is that the because most of the training programs happen in-house in the client or the company's premises, campuses. Thereby, we certify and we train the local IT spots on very regular or whatever common issues that come up, and so they are the turnaround time for them is lesser, so they're available locally. If they are unable to resolve any issue, any query within an hour or so, and that's when we step in as a level 2 kind of support system. But we work in very stringent turnaround times to ensure the continuity of the program. Thereby, having a level 1, level 2 approach helps us sort issues quicker and faster.
All right. I mean, Shane, really, it was very exhaustive, and thank you for taking us through this ride. I'm sure everyone found the whole session very informative and very comprehensive. Thank you, everyone, for being there. As promised, we'll be sharing the recording on our YouTube channel, and we'll be uploading slides on our SlideShare account. We'll be sharing the links with you through emails. Don't worry on this front. But if in case you want to discuss anything specific with us, you can anytime reach out to me or Shane. We'll be happy to help you. Right? So thanks again. Have a nice day. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks everyone.